Welcome and welcome back to the Scripture Re-Education Project. Okay, so we've already covered the first parts of day 6. We've covered um, the animals, the cattle, land animals. We've covered man. We've covered woman, and then now we're actually going to cover the test and go into a little bit more in depth of what happened in the garden. Okay, let's pray. Most High, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all that you're doing in our lives. We ask that you would make us your vessels of light. Help us to shine so that others may see your good works within us. Please, anything that we're struggling with, any self-confidence issues, anything that we have, anything that's trying to tear us down or distract us or lead us astray, we cast those things right now. We command that they be bound up and cast away from us by the authority of your Son. We thank you for all that you're doing, for who you are, how you are faithful and consistent, loving, kind, and you never change. Thank you for all that you're doing to show us who you are, not only through your word, but in our daily life. Help us to see you in everything that we do, and help us to be able to cast down any high imagination that exalteth itself above the knowledge of your word. Any lie that the enemy tells, help us to be able to spot it and kill it with the sword of your word. We thank you for all that you're doing for us, and we thank you for who you are. Hallelujah. Amen. It shall be done. Okay, so let's go ahead and read. We're going to start with the test today. So we're going to pick up here at 2nd Enoch chapter 31, 4 through 5. And the devil is the evil spirit of the lower places. He made himself a fugitive from the heavens, as the devil, and his name was Satan, or Hasatan, the Satan, right? Thus he became different from the angels, but his nature did not change. His intelligence, as it applies to his understanding of righteous and sinful things, he understood his condemnation and the sin that he had committed before. Therefore he devised a thought against Adam, in which he entered and seduced Eve, but did not touch Adam, because he knew Adam wasn't going to fall for the okie doke. So he said, but I know that she has influence over him. And here's the thing that you need to realize: these names like followers and influencers and all that types of things, the enemy is after your influence in order to be able to get your soul. So the thing that you need to actually ask the Father for is his influence, not the devil's influence, because the enemy will use people to influence them to do all kinds of things. We see it in television and everything all the time. People will watch a show, and then based on what they saw online or what a show, it influences their behavior. So he wanted Eve for her influence because he knew that Eve had powerful influence over Adam, which is why it's very important, if you are an Eve, to make sure that you're guarding and protecting those that you are that are under your authority, those who he has the Father has entrusted to you. That's why it's not a light thing to be a woman. It's not a light thing to be a man, but it's not a light thing to be a woman either. And the plight of men and women are different. I don't know why everybody's trying to make it like, oh, we have it harder, you have it harder. I'm just, people may not like it. Hands down, I think men have it harder than women. I really and truly do. And I really think that because we don't understand our roles as women in today's society, I don't care about Western thought, as biblically speaking, because we don't understand our roles. We're kind of like the story of the fisherman's wife, where nothing is ever good enough. Everything always has to be an upgrade. Everything is always trying to like find the next best thing. And I'm just saying that just because I see it more as an issue amongst women than men. I'm not trying to pick on women, but that's just my point. Okay, we're jumping back to the life of Adam and Eve, chapter 33. Vita translation, this is still Adam's account in the pseudepigrapha. And the Most High appointed 2 angels to guard us. The hour came when the angels ascended to worship in the presence of Yah. Immediately, the adversary, the devil, found opportunity while the angels were away and deceived your mother, so that she ate of the illicit and forbidden tree, and she ate and gave it to me. So he gave, like, he mansplained it, right? But she's going to elaborate, okay? So he was like, the angels left, and then he snuck in the back door, and which is why you should always be on guard. You always need to be on guard. Remember, part of it was to guard the garden. But they were used to living in safety. They didn't acknowledge any danger. But he already said that you need to guard the garden, you need to tend it and all that kind of good stuff, and then don't eat that fruit. But if they had angels that were guarding them, how was it a setup? Okay? All right, let's keep reading. Life of Adam and Eve, chapter 7, Apocalypse translation, Adam's account. Okay, we're still in the pseudepigrapha. We're just reading a different translation of the same story. Okay, all right. And Adam said to him, he's talking to Seth, his son, when the Most High made us, me and your mother, through whom I am dying, he gave us every plant in paradise, but concerning the one he commanded us not to eat of it. For if we would die by it, and the hour drew near for the angels who were guarding your mother to ascend and worship the Most High. And the enemy gave to her, and she ate from the tree, since he knew that neither I nor the holy angels were near her. Then she gave also to me to eat. Now, there's a couple things to note here. One, Adam is very bitter about this whole garden thing. Like, you see the shade, just in through whom I'm dying now, like it's her fault. But here's the thing. Some people are like, well, Adam was standing right there in the garden. He wasn't. He wasn't near her. The angels weren't near her when this went down, which is also why, like I said before, you need to always be on guard, because the enemy is always trying to slither his way in to deceive. Okay? All right. So we're going to keep going. Still in the life of Adam and Eve, chapter 15. This is the Apocalypse translation. This is Eve's account. Then Eve to them, listen, all my children and my children's children, and I will tell you how our enemy deceived us. And it happened while we were guarding paradise, each in his own portion allotted from Yah. Now, I was watching in my share in the south and the west, and the devil came into Adam's portion, where the male animals were, since the Most High divided the animals among us, and all the males he gave to your father, and all the females to me. Each of us kept his own. Now, the interesting thing is Eve says that the enemy deceived us. Adam's like, no, he deceived her. But it's kind of like still the same way that men and women talk today, which I just find funny. Okay, so we're going to jump back to Genesis 3:1. And the serpent was more crafty than all the animals of the field which the Most High had made. Life of Adam and Eve, chapter 16. This is the Apocalypse translation. We're still in Eve's account. And the devil spoke to the serpent, saying, rise and come to me, and I will tell you something to your advantage. Then the serpent came to him, and the devil said to him, I hear that you are wiser than all the beasts, so I came to observe you. I found you greater than all the beasts, and they associate with you. But yet you are prostrate to the very least. Why do you eat of the weeds of Adam and not the fruit of paradise? Rise and come. Let us make him be cast out of paradise through his wife, just as we were cast out through him. And the serpent said to him, I fear, for lest the Most High will be wrathful to me. The devil said to him, do not fear, only become my vessel, and I will speak a word through your mouth by which you will be able to deceive him. Which is what happened. Okay, so let's look at something right here. The plan was always to come through Eve to get to Adam, because they knew that couldn't go straight to Adam and that Adam had influence on Eve. So one of the things to consider right here, it says just as we were cast out through him, and he's talking about the angels that were cast out of Eden. Because if you go to Ezekiel 28:13, it talks about how one of the fallen angels, it says how you were in the garden and you had all of these beautiful stones and everything upon you. So they were in the garden at one point, but it wasn't because of Adam that they got kicked out. There's the lie, the kernel of truth with the lie. The truth was we were in the garden. The lie is we got kicked out because of Adam. And then the other thing that we also have to consider, the serpent let someone else violate the authority that he himself was under based on Genesis 1:26, because Adam has dominion over the creatures that are upon the earth. So if you're saying that you're trying to take down the one that's above you, that's out of order. So the serpent was wrong for heeding the enemy's instruction, because he was still going to be under the dominion of someone. The problem is you thought that you were going to usurp the dominion of the one that's above you, which we'll see as a pattern, as we've already seen on day 2, where it's always trying to usurp someone else's dominion or power. Okay, let's keep going. All right, Life of Adam and Eve, chapter 17, Apocalypse translation. We're still in Eve's account. And immediately he suspended himself from the walls of paradise about the time when the angels of Yah went up to worship. Then Satan came in the form of an angel, sang hymns to Yah as an angel, and I saw him bending over the wall like an angel. And he said to me, "Are you Eve?" And I said to him, "I am." And he said to me, "What are you doing in paradise?" And I replied, "The Most High placed us to guard it and eat from it." And the devil answered me through the mouth of the serpent, "You do well, but do you not eat of every plant?" And I said to him, "Yes, we eat of every plant, except the one which is in the midst of paradise, concerning which the Most High commanded us not to eat of it, else we most surely shall die." So Adam did his portion as far as relaying the message to her, because clearly she just reiterated it. She also used the word. She did it properly. She used the word to counteract what he said, because he's like, "Oh, well, you're doing all right, but you don't eat every plant." And she was like, "Oh no, we can eat everything, we just can't eat that one." So she reiterates it. She does use the word, but she doesn't use it in authority. Okay, all right, let's keep going. So we're going to pick up here Genesis 3:2-5. And he said to the woman, "Is it in truth that the Most High said, 'You shall not eat of the tree of the garden'?" And the woman said to the serpent, "Of the fruit of the tree of the garden we may eat, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High hath said, You shall not eat of it, nor approach it, lest you die. And the serpent said to the woman, Not to die will you die, for it is manifest before the Most High that the day in which you eat of it, your eyes will be open, and you will be ki reb, beam, like cherubim, right? As the great ones, knowing good and evil. Now, here's the trick of the enemy. He will always try to flip the words of the Most High and make it seem like the Most High is a liar, and that he's somehow trying to bring you to another level of truth, which is the same thing that the angels that fell suffered from. He sat there and lied to them, deceived himself, and then trying to make you seem like you're going to level up somehow from the one that actually created you, that has all power, which doesn't make any sense, right? All right, let's keep going. Okay, so life of Adam and Eve, still chapter 18, still Apocalypse translation, Eve's account. Then the serpent said to me, May the Most High live, for I am grieved over you, that you are like animals. For I do not want you to be ignorant, but rise and come and eat and observe the glory of the tree. And I said to him, I fear lest the Most High be angry with me, just as he told us. He said to me, Fear not, for the very time you eat, your eyes will be open, and you will be like gods. You will be like Elohim, right? Knowing good and evil. But since the Most High knew this, that you would be like him, he begrudged you and said to you, Do not eat of it. But come to the plant and see its great glory. And I turned to the plant and saw its great glory. And I said to him, It is pleasing to consider with eyes, yet I was afraid to take of the fruit. And he said to me, Come, and I will give it to you. Follow me. Now here's a number of things that's happening here. One of the things is he's luring her away from a place of safety where she belongs. And he caught her while she was alone. She was vigilant, but not vigilant enough, because he came talking like he was righteous. There's a lot of people that fall prey to unrighteous pastors and leaders and preachers that have the serpent in their mouth, but they sound righteous, and it's easy to fall prey to that. A lot of people do, and unfortunately a lot of our women in the church fall prey to that, which is why we need to be vigilant, right? And at the same time, Eve was innocent. Like, she's like a child, like she's innocent, she doesn't know, but at the same time she should have trusted the word that she was given. Okay, so here again the serpent is making it seem like somehow there's some type of grudge that the Most High has against humanity or against his people, or it's like, oh, he doesn't really love you, or oh, he doesn't want you to have this, oh, he doesn't do this, when he's like, I created this whole garden for you. Like, you don't gotta work, you ain't gotta lift a finger. Like, I'm just giving you busy work. You know, you can just run around with the animals all day, like whatever it is that you would play in the water for, I don't care. Just make sure you don't eat that tree, but you can eat everything else. You can have a buffet if you want to, you can have a party if you want to. If y'all want to sit here and, I don't know, do stuff, you can do it. You have a life of ease. But he's trying to make it, the enemy will come and try to make you think that what you have isn't good enough. All right, let's keep going. Antiquities of the Jews, Book 1, Chapter 1, 1, 4, 1. So chapter 4, like line 1, is kind of what we're doing here. And the Most High therefore commanded that Adam and his wife should eat of the rest of the plants, but abstain from the tree of knowledge, and foretold to them that if they touched it, it would prove their destruction. But while all the living creatures had one language, at that time the serpent which then lived together with Adam and his wife showed an envious disposition at his supposal of their living happily and in obedience to the commands of Yah, because they were keeping the commandment, right? And imagining that when they disobeyed them that they would fall into calamities, he persuaded the woman out of a malicious intention to taste of the tree of knowledge, telling them that in the tree was the knowledge of good and evil, which knowledge when they should obtain, they would lead a happy life, nay, a life not inferior to that of a god, right? By which means he overcame the woman and persuaded her to despise the command of the Most High. Now, when she had tasted of the tree, she was pleased with its fruit, and she persuaded Adam to make use of it also. Here's the thing. We're going to bring that to modern times. You know what? They trying to keep this knowledge from us. This is our heritage. This is our former knowledge. And this is, with the Anunnaki and with the Egyptians. Like, we were the original Anunnaki. We are the gods of this world. That's the foolishness. It's the same thing. It's the same lie repackaged. It's the same thing like, when it's the same thing like with the fall. He was sitting there trying to get them to forfeit. You, as a spirit, there is no higher level than you can be than in heaven. And he said, yeah, no, that's not good enough. We can upgrade this. As man, there is no higher level than they could be than in the garden. And he said, no, you can upgrade this. Like, you can do it better than you're giving you. And you already have more than you ever could have given yourself. Okay? So we're going to keep going. All right, Life of Adam and Eve, chapter 19. Same translation. And I opened the gate for him, and he entered into paradise, passing through in front of me. And after he walked a little and turned and said to me, I have changed my mind. I will not allow you to eat. And he said these things, wishing in the end to entice and ruin me. And he said to me, swear to me that you were giving it also to your husband. And I said to him, I do not know what sort of oath I should swear to you. However, that which I do know, I tell you, by the throne of the Most High and the cherubim and the tree of life, I shall give it also to my husband to eat. And when he had received the oath from me, he went and climbed the tree and sprinkled his evil poison on the fruit which he gave to me to eat, which is his covetousness. For covetousness is the origin of every sin. And he bent the branch towards the earth, and I took the fruit and I ate. Now, there's a couple things right here that we need to take note of. One, he kind of gives her like a FOMO situation, like a fear of missing out kind of situation. Like, oh, no, I've changed my mind. I don't think that you can handle it. So now she wants it even more, because now he's making it seem like she's missing out if she doesn't have it. But she was completely content before he came in here and deceived her. Then on top of that, he's having her, make all these oaths and all these swears, and she doesn't know what she's doing, which is why Messiah tells us, don't swear by anything. Like, don't swear by his throne. Don't swear by this. Don't swear by, like don't make any oaths, because you don't know what you're doing. But then he sprinkles it with covetousness, and covetousness is always going to feed that FOMO. It's always going to feed that, oh, I'm missing out. Oh, I should be doing better. Oh, why is he doing better? Why am I not doing better? If you are focusing on your own part of the garden, if you are tending and growing it, if you were doing that, you don't have time to look everywhere else. If you are focused on the things that you should be focused on, you're not concerned about what someone else is wearing. You're not concerned about how much money someone else has. You're not concerned about how well someone's channel is doing. You're not concerned about any of those things, because you can't take any of it with you when you die anyway. So it doesn't matter. All you need to do is focus on the words that your father said and keep it moving. Okay, let's go. All right, Genesis 3:6-7. And the woman saw that the tree was good to eat, and it was salutary to the eyes, and a tree desirable to contemplate. And she took of its fruitage, Ava, right, and ate. Life of Adam and Eve, chapter 20, same translation. Okay. And at that very moment, my eyes were open, and I knew that I was naked of the righteousness with which I have been clothed. And I wept, saying, Why have you done this to me? I have been estranged from my glory, which I was clothed. And I wept also about the oath. But that one came down from the tree and vanished. And I looked for leaves in my region so that I might cover my shame. But I did not find any from the trees of paradise, since while I ate, the leaves of all the trees of my portion fell, except those of the fig tree only. And I took its leaves, and I made myself skirts, and they were from the same plants of which I ate. Now, one of the things to consider as well, he had to lead her to the tree. It wasn't like the tree was right in front of him. Now, if you want to talk about a setup, and I'm going to beat a dead horse with this. If you want to talk about a setup, that's when you bake a whole cake and you put it in front of a child and you say, don't touch it. Still, they need to follow that command because you told them not to do it. But that's more of a setup. But if they know the cake is in the house somewhere and they not thinking about it until their friend come over and be like, yo, didn't your mom bake a cake? And then now y'all got to search in the house for the cake. That's not a setup. You just went looking for it. So the serpent led her to the tree. It wasn't like the tree was just standing right there. And even then, the serpent had to climb up the tree, bend the branch down so she could even reach the fruit. It wasn't an easy thing to do. She had to actually work to get the fruit. It wasn't like the tree was just sitting there out in the open. She had to go to the garden. Like, she had to go to that part of the garden. She didn't know how to get there. She knew it was there, but she probably didn't know how to get there right away, which is why the serpent led her right to it. And he had no business in her side of the garden anyway. All right, let's keep going. All right, we're continuing on Life of Adam and Eve, chapter 21. And I cried out with a loud voice, saying, Adam, Adam, where are you? Rise and come to me, and I will show you a great mystery. And when your father came, I spoke to him unlawful words of transgression, such as brought us down from great glory. For when he came, opened my mouth, and the devil was speaking. I began to admonish him, saying, Come, my Lord Adam, listen to me and eat of the fruit of the tree of which the Most High told us not to eat from it. And you shall be as the Most High your father. And your father answered and said, I fear lest the Most High be angry with me. And I said to him, Do not fear, for as soon as you eat, you shall know good and evil. Then I quickly persuaded him, and he ate, and his eyes were open, and he also realized his nakedness. And he said to me, O evil woman, why have you wrought destruction among us? You have estranged me from the glory of Yah. Now, here's the thing. In all three instances, between the serpent, Eve, and Adam, the first thing out their mouth is, I fear that the Most High is going to be angry with me, which is your conviction. And a lot of times before we sin, that kicks in. We were like, you know what? I really shouldn't be doing this. But we do it anyway. You override. So you had your warning. Your spirit has an automatic check system. But the more you sin, it nulls and you don't even hear it anymore. So which is why it's important. Okay, now we're going to keep going. Genesis 3:7, and she gave to her husband with her, and he ate. Because she went to her husband. He wasn't right there in front of her with the tree, right? She had to go to him. So she's with him now, right? And he ate. And the eyes of both of them were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed for themselves leaves of the fig tree and made for themselves cinctures. So let's run over to Antiquities of the Jews, Book 1, Chapter 1, Paragraph 4, Verse 2, which is how that's my system. Okay, continue. Upon this, they perceived that they were become naked to one another, and being ashamed thus to appear abroad, they invented somewhat to cover them. For the tree sharpened their understanding, and they covered themselves with fig leaves, and tying these before them out of modesty, they thought they were happier than they were before, as they had discovered what they were in want of. So they figured, oh, well, you know what? We did learn something. Like, we're naked now. Oh, I didn't know that before. See, now we know it worked. It worked. Okay? All right. So now we're going to move on.